Let's call to order. 9:05. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Posters got a flag in the room. Call the roll, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Slosik,
Yes.
Okay, I'll entertain motions on approval or amendment of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as printed. Any discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Slosik.
Yes.
We're going to move on to our consent agenda this morning.
You guys skip
Yep,
over.
I'm going to
Okay.
skip that. Our consent agenda, approve the minutes of regular session minutes of May 11th, 2021 and special session minutes of May 14th, 2021. Approve the claims as audited and authorize the county auditor and recorder to issue payment of the same. The listing of claims paid at this meeting and all claims paid in the month of May will be published as part of the first meeting in June. Reappoint Robert Grimes, Marshall County Veterans Affairs, for another 3-year term through 12/31/2023. File Marshall Ridge Farms, number 60101, IDNR construction permit, number CP-A 2020-019 for an anaerobic digester plans, construction in the spring of 2021. File manure management plans for Blue Valley Pork, number 59449 at 3255 140th Street, Marshalltown. No changes made. Burt Farms, Matthew Burt Site 8, number 59927, 1310 Taylor Avenue, Marshalltown. No changes made. Jared Whitaker, number 70163, 180th Street, Clemens. No changes made. Justin Whitaker, number 66798, 1775 Binford Avenue, State Center. No changes made. MTM Farms, number 61010, 3016 Martha Avenue, Haverhill. No changes made. Prestige Farms, PI-295, number 65971, 1670 170th Street, Clemens. Used manure analysis. Prestige Farms, PI-296, number 65970, 1806 170th Street, Clemens. Used manure analysis. And Prestige Farms, PI-333, number 67102, 1444 148th Street, Clemens. Used manure analysis. I'll entertain motions on the consent agenda, please.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to approve the consent agenda as printed.
And I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as printed.
Can I add one comment?
You may.
There is a check in the claims for $2,500 for a lease that is being approved later, and that check is being held and will be voided if the lease is not approved, but will be ready if it is.
I'm fine with that. Are you gentlemen fine with that? Okay. We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Slosik.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to move Paul up in our agenda as he has some pressing needs this morning. He has a funeral to go to for one of our former employees in the Marshall County Engineer's Office, Dan McNary. Please express our condolences to the McNary family. Very, very nice man, and we miss him. Number 10 on our agenda this morning is an amendment to the fiscal year 2021 DOT budget for secondary roads. Paul, you want to bring us up to speed on this, please?
Yeah, there's a copy coming down to you that's got the changes highlighted. If you go to page 2, there's a couple of reasons I did this. Where our bridge project, that is a CHPP grant project, we thought we would be paying that out of the DOT system. And as it is a grant, it was grant money, but there's also swap money in there. And since it's off system, it's not on farmer market route, we actually have to pay it out of local to get reimbursed from the grant and from our swap money. So I had amended the construction down to practically nothing. I'm estimating right now that we'll have $260,000 that we have to pay out of this project out of local before the end of the fiscal year, as they're ready for deck pour basically on that bridge. And I was amazed at the progress that Peterson made on this project, because I didn't think they even started until after July 1st.
And this is our final number 4 bridge on the Center Street?
This is the 5th one. This is when there's already two crews working north of town. They had another crew that started on the one south of town.
On the other bridge?
Yes.
Oh, my.
I mean, they were considering Friday possibly having 2 deck pours. One north of town and one downtown. So we'll see.
Well, people will be very excited to get that last deck pour on the north bridges.
Yeah, and it's gonna happen this week, for sure.
Good.
But you can see on the second page on item 5 and item 5A, the FA bridge replacement funds federally, that's the grant money of the amount that we're gonna request reimbursement for. The swap is essentially, it's our old federal bridge money that now the DOT keeps, and we get state money for that. So that swap is state funds. And then on page 3, you can see where I added 260,000 to construction. And then you'll note also that this doesn't make any changes to our local budget. This is just a budget change with the DOT that allows me to do an annual report that gets approved. Because otherwise we would overrun, incredibly. Basically it's a reimbursement.
Okay.
The other change I had to make is due to the cold weather that they had down in Texas this last winter. The factory that makes the resin that goes in our traffic paint is in Houston and basically got shut down. So there's a huge problem with getting paint. And so because of that, I was able to get on the state bid and get paint ordered at the bid price, which is much cheaper than it is right now. But I had to get the paint this fiscal year, even though they're not going to apply the paint next fiscal year. They're going to apply the paint after July 1st, but I still had to buy the paint in full. And so I went into snow and ice control because we had underrun in there and moved 31,000 out of snow and put it into traffic controls, because we would have overrun traffic controls quite a bit. That's where the paint came on. So that's another item just to allow the annual report to be passed.
Okay.
That's it.
Any discussion on this item?
The only other added thing, I guess, is the only amount that it changes the expenditures and revenues is just the 268 construction that is the in and out. So the ending fund balance does not change.
Not a bit. And it's only the DOT's numbers.
Correct.
Yep. Okay. I'll entertain motions on this item, please. Number 10.
I'd make a motion then, Mr. Chair, to approve
Yes.
amendment of FY21 DOT budget for secondary roads.
And Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the amendment of the fiscal year 21 DOT budget for secondary roads. Any further discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Slosson.
Yes.
Okay, item number 11 on our agenda this morning is the sharing agreement with Jasper County, discussion and possible action. Paul, you want to fill us in again on this?
Yes, I started with the Tama Power Sheet agreement for this, just to come up with an agreement that had all the parts and pieces that we needed. Also, then I just tried to come up with a compensation number that was one that was realistic and likely one that they would see if they wanted to share it with any other entity. And so I went to 175,880 as my salary during this agreement, and that adds $5,000 a month to my gross. And then what I did was I talked with our auditor staff to figure out what the fringes would be, and added all the fringe benefits that we have to that salary. And then by this agreement, we would split that number in half. So Marshall would actually be paying a little bit less than what they're paying now. My grand total compensation for salary benefits is 142,400, and that number would actually go down to 106,360 by splitting it in half. That's for, for our half remaining after Jasper makes their payment. By the agreement, Jasper would pay $8,863.39 monthly, due on the 15th of the month. This agreement is set up to go no longer than 6 months. It will end November 30th if they have not yet made a hire. The agreement will also just go month to month. So if they make a hire and they're done, they notify us, and at the end of that month, my service is done. So that, we'll just be able to, it's basically month to month for up to 6 months.
And at the end of the agreement, you go back to your original
Correct.
salary.
Back to original salary as my contract, so we go past July 1st, I had a raise in there by contract, it would just go back to that number.
Yeah.
And then there would be, also in this agreement, vehicle is provided by Marshall County, and every month I will send I will log mileage that is driven in service of Jasper, and then I will send an invoice basically to the Jasper County engineer for the miles at the Jasper County rate that they pay their employees, which is the federal rate of 56 cents a mile.
56 this year, yes.
That's what I'll be, getting reimbursement every month for the mileage that I drive into the Jasper.
And then that'll just be deposited into your cost center, into your accounts.
Wherever you say it needs to go.
Okay. Okay.
The next bridge that we have to.
It's hopefully
We're
won't
close.
last long enough to cover anything like that. So like I say, the big points are the entire time I am an employee in Marshall County and only Marshall County, and all payment goes from Jasper to Marshall, and the raise I get comes from Marshall, just to keep things straight with benefits and taxes.
Bottom line is there's some benefit for you in here doing the extra work. The Marshall County taxpayers during the portion of this will save roughly $36,000 in the sharing agreement.
Yeah, there's, at least there's some compensation coming back to
Yep.
Marshall for my services.
And we're being a good neighbor.
Yes.
Hopefully they'll get somebody hired. My own personal comment is I'd like you to monitor this, and if this gets to the point where it becomes detrimental to either your life or work performance here, that you give us plenty of notice that it's time for this to end.
And there is an exit clause in section 14 for both parties. Like I said, Jasper can terminate it with no notice, which is at the end of the month.
Yep.
And then if we decide to terminate it, we are agreeing to give Jasper 15 days notice to terminate the agreement.
And they have been getting some applications for their position down
They
there.
have one and maybe two that they want to interview at this point, yes.
Okay, so they're within the state then.
Yeah, they're qualified and applicants that they would definitely consider.
But even if they get them hired, it'll be a period of time before they can bring them on board also.
Yes, it depends on the person's situation.
Okay.
Then on the motion, if we have a motion, Paul, and just to approve Marshall County, Jasper County engineer agreement, is that good enough?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
And this is already fully approved by the Jasper County Board of Supervisors on May 19th.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, we've got their signatures.
Yeah.
Will I need to do anything for next meeting on, assuming this passes, or does this cover the payroll change?
Just get a copy of it over to Maria.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments or
Just to
questions?
clarify, are you able to keep, maybe I don't understand, your half of what's coming? That's going to you.
No, it is going to Marshall County. My gross is going up $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
But in that same month,
Okay.
Marshall is being reimbursed $8,800 for the
Which will help pay for benefits. And I mean, we're going to pay for your amount of benefits, but with the higher salary, there'd be FICA, some additional IPERs. So there's a little bit of additional cost because of the extra money. but-
Minor amount of Social Security.
Yeah.
This will
Social
put them-
Security, Medicare,
It should
and
put them above
IPERs.
the,
If you guys want to see, I've got
the limit for social security,
For Social Security, it will.
but you'll still have work comp, you'll have unemployment, you'll have
Yeah, there's a little bit of cost for those
Yep.
other things.
an IFRS.
You want a copy of it?
I'll get it over to Maria too.
That's actually what I used on the breakdown. I got that information from Mary.
Oh, okay,
And Jeannie.
okay,
That's how I did the, the math on it.
okay.
Yeah, I'd like to have a copy of this. It's more easily to understand.
There's another one if you want.
Do you have one more? Do you three all have one?
You got my original.
I was
Bill
gonna,
and I'll
I
share.
was gonna give one to Sherry for the,
We're good.
yeah.
Or was that yours I just gave away?
No, that's fine.
If, I can also scan it and email it to anybody.
If you want an agreement too, it's not signed by them yet, but
Sherry, I'm sure will get me an executed one I can get for my department.
Okay? You ready for, Mr. Chairman? Are
Any
you
more
ready for-
questions? Entertain motions on this item, please.
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the Marshall County, Jasper County Engineer Agreement.
And I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the Marshall County, Jasper County agreement. Unless there's further discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Wassick,
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item 12, secondary roads purchase, 2 Volvo VHD 64F 300 tandem axle truck chassis from Gator Truck Center for $248,316. These trucks will be paid from the fiscal year 2023 equipment budget.
I know that sounds strange, but the Volvo right now, thanks to pandemic, and also they had a couple week-long strike, their build out on tandem chassis is between 75 and 80 weeks. So when we get new tandems, we want to make sure we get them in, mid-summer to late summer, so we can get them outfitted, get them in service by winter. And so this is just to get us a truck by I think October of 22.
So we're way past thinking a year ahead already.
Yeah.
Okay. Entertain motions on this item, please.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve the purchase of 2 Volvo V6 full F300 tandem axle truck chassis from Gator Truck Center for $248,316. Trucks paid from the FY 2023 equipment budget.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. I got one question. Do we need to be picking out our equipment that goes with it, or does that not have quite as long of a lead time?
The problem is with steel prices, Henderson won't even give us a number on that far ahead yet. Steel just keeps going up, and Henderson's like, for a year ahead, they won't even quote them.
This is so ridiculous. I had somebody, I placed an order for items in May or April. I just already got notification that orders that we placed are having increases in the steel prices on orders we've already placed. This is gonna get crazy.
It's, vehicles are really crazy. I don't know if we have any upcoming vehicles, but my husband ordered a truck.
You can't get them?
Oh, they ordered it. There's no price.
No. I don't know where it's
That's
gonna
gonna
end.
be your Christmas present.
I think it might be. That'll be awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
All righty, we have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of 2 Volvo tandem axle truck chassis. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Wassick,
Yes.
Okay. Paul, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a safe trip. Now we're going to go back to
Number 5.
item number 5 in our portion of right before our consent agenda, which is a mental health proclamation. Lisa, would you like to speak to this, please?
Yep, so I'm
You
gonna
want
read
to
the
just-
proclamation.
Yeah.
So mental health month is always May of every year.
Here.
And whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being, And whereas Mental Health America reports that 9.7% of youth have severe major depression. The rate was highest among youth who identify as more than one race at 12.4%. Even before COVID-19, the prevalence of mental health illness among adults was increasing, an increase of 1.5 million people over last year's data. In addition, Mental Health America from January 2020 to September 2020, there was a reported 93% increase in anxiety screenings and 62% increase in depression screenings. And whereas education is an effective way to reduce the stigma of mental health illness, and whereas mental health illnesses are real and prevalent in our county, regardless of socioeconomic boundaries, and whereas we encourage our citizens to get help for mental health illnesses and to understand it as important to treat as any other illness such as diabetes or heart disease. And whereas each business, school, government agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizen shares the burden of mental health illnesses and has a responsibility to promote mental wellness and support prevention efforts. And whereas through increased awareness, we can achieve our goal to abandon negative stigmatism and reinforce our acceptance of individuals seeking treatment. Ben.
Therefore, I, Dave Thompson, Chair of the Marshall County Board of Supervisors, on this 25th day of May 2021, do hereby proclaim May 2021 as Mental Health Month in Marshall County, Iowa. As chair, I also call upon citizens, government agencies, and public and private institutions, businesses, and schools of Marshall County, Iowa, to recommit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental health. The steps our citizens can take to protect their mental health and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental health at all stages.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you very much. We are very cognizant as supervisors of the needs for mental health. It affects so many areas of what we do, anywhere from the needs in juvenile detention that we have our kids up in Eldora, to the individuals that are out to Joel's facility at the jail facility. I can easily say, Joel, you'll correct me if I'm off beat here, but I know darn well that at least 50% of the kids that we've got in juvenile detention have mental health issues that I don't need to be addressed further, and I would say that runs fairly consistent with our jail population. We have needs, something we definitely need to work on. I know the state is changing some things around with mental health on the regions, and
We don't know how much change there's going to be yet.
we don't know yet. It is yet remains to be seen, but thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you okay? Okay, you just going out by yourself or? Oh, okay.
You
Okay.
don't have to if you don't want to.
We're about done.
Now, we're going to bounce to item number 7 on our agenda, which is a limited site usage agreement between Marshall County and the Iowa Regional Utilities Association. This is a 15-year agreement beginning July 1st, 2021. It expires 6/30/2036. Renewable and additional for 15 years upon written notice for installation of the county's fixture, equipment, and antenna. County to install emergency generator for the Iowa Regional Utility Association and Marshall County Emergency Equipment. County to pay costs of maintenance and operator of generator and site electricity of an annual license fee of $1.
You know, this used to be Central Iowa Rural Water, right? And they've changed the name.
Yes.
So just so everybody knows where we're going to there. Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the limited site usage license agreement between Marshall County and the Iowa Regional Utilities Association, 15-year agreement to begin July 1, 2021, and to expire 6/30/2036, renewable for additional 15 years upon written notice for installation of county's fixtures, equipment, and antenna. County to install an emergency generator for IRUA and Marshall County Emergency Equipment. County to pay costs of maintenance and operation of the generator, site electricity, annual license fee of $1, and I just moved that, didn't I? So I'm done.
And this is for our new antenna that is going on the water tower in LeGrand for emergency
I
communication.
think there's going to be some fiber optics put in too, but that isn't going to cost us.
Okay.
So
And I'll second this.
Very generous of the
Absolutely.
LeGrand and the Utilities Association to give us an annual fee of $1.
I worked on this one myself.
Thank you.
I'm proud of being
Yep.
able to.
I
make this
agree.
happen.
That speaks very highly of them.
Yes.
And thank you for all your work on this. I know this
Glad to do it.
radio project has been near and dear to yours and Bill's and my heart. We've had some consternation from time to time, but we're getting there. Any further discussion on this item? Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve. Without further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
yes,
Slosson.
Yes.
Item 8 is a lease with Whitaker Farms Limited Liability Corporation and access easement with Justin J. Whitaker for a lease of 911 Tower Site at $2,500 per year for 15 years with option to renew up to 3 5-year terms. I'll entertain motions on this item, please.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the lease of the Whitaker Farms LLC and access equipment with Justin J. Whitaker for a lease of 911 Tower Site, $2,500 per year for 15 years with option to renew up to 3 5-year terms.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to approve on the floor. Just for everybody's information, this is our second 911 tower, the one that we will be constructing on the Whitaker's
Okay,
property.
we need to make a correction to this. It should be Whitaker Farms, Inc., not LLC.
Okay.
Which is not a big deal. Obviously, the rest of the name is the
Do we
same.
need to redo our motion, or is everybody fine with just adding Inc. and leaving it
I'm
at that?
fine. Are you
Crossing out LLC and putting
Okay.
it in.
Yeah.
Yep. We have a motion to approve and a second with the changing to Whitaker Farms from LLC to Inc. Any further discussion?
This was a project that Bill and Nan ramrodded, so kudos to you folks.
Yep. I know you put in a tremendous amount of time up and down the roads, looking for sites, talking to people, and thank you for all your additional work.
The tower is in a perfect location. It's in a position that will not bother their field work, or if it does, very minimally. And so this should be a good spot and should bring much better radio contact for the people who need it, because they don't have it right now.
And that part of the county is not good.
Yeah,
So
we have
that's-
had dead zones up in the St. Anthony and that area forever.
Mhm.
This should benefit law enforcement, our emergency medical, and everybody else that uses that system. Okay. Any further discussion or comments?
Nope.
Roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes,
Slosson.
Yes.
Item number 9 is something we handled in our budget, but we're also going to be totally transparent because our budget meetings are open meetings, but nobody ever comes to them. So we want everybody to know that we are having a resolution number 2021-0024, authorizing payments to Marshall County Chamber of Commerce for Economic Development Program, $50,000 in fiscal year 21 and 22, and also the Residential Home Buying Incentive Program for a maximum of 12 homes at $1,500 each in the fiscal year 2022. Keep in mind that is a commitment on the 12 homes at $1,500 each. And if they don't get 12 single-family homes that are going to be built in a particular price range, that money does not leave our. Entertain motions on this item, please.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion
Adopt.
to adopt the resolution 2021-0024, authorizing payments to Marshall County Chamber of Commerce for Economic Development Program, $50,000 in fiscal year 21 and fiscal year 22, and Residential Home Building Incentive Program, 12 homes at $1,500 in fiscal year 2022.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2021-2024. Any further discussion or comments? We do have a comment that is coming across. Do we need to read that into the record?
Yes, I think we should.
It is from Sue Blaisdell. Is that amount so low that it is useless? That remains to be seen on how it turns out.
Ours is only a portion. There's other folks
Yes.
doing a payment as well.
This is a program that is combined with the city, the county, and the Chamber of Commerce. As I understand it, that the total incentive package is for $10,000 to each home, with cooperation from all of the government entities without the school system. The individuals that build these homes have the choice of either taking a $10,000 incentive up front or applying for a 3-year tax abatement. That is the individual's choice, but this program was designed for people that are coming in so that they can have an additional upfront down payment on their homes and get into the home. All the entities and from the chamber and everybody else are working very hard to bring additional individuals and incentivize them to living within our community. I know the goal of the chambers and the people that sit on this committee is to get the individuals that are working with our community, working within our community, to actually live here, which is a very admirable goal. Anything else? Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Slosik,
Yes.
Okay. We have already done item number 10, 11, and 12. We are on to item number 13, County Office Face Mask Policy for Visitors, Residents, and Employees. Dan, you want to bring us up to date what you have discovered on this?
Yes, I'm going to read a little blurb from the CDC update. Last week, the CDC updated its guidance for people who are fully vaccinated. These recommendations can help individuals make their own decisions about their daily life and activities after being fully vaccinated. An individual is fully vaccinated once 2 weeks have passed after receiving their final dose in a vaccine series or 2 weeks after a single dose vaccine. The CDC continues to recommend individuals continue taking all precautions until they are fully vaccinated, such as mask wearing and social distancing. According to the CDC, if you've been fully vaccinated, you can resume activities that you did prior to the pandemic. You can resume activities without wearing a mask or staying 6 feet apart, except where required by federal, state, local, tribal, or territorial laws, rules, and regulations, including local businesses and workplaces. This announcement, of course, affects the wearing of masks. Therefore, mask recommendations in Marshall County facilities need to be adjusted into this new guidance. These recommendations are for staff and visitors to any Marshall County office and facility. And I did email this all to you. The section here in bold is what we're recommending that we change ours to for staff and visitors. Masks and COVID-19 prevention measures are still recommended for unvaccinated people. Mass and prevention measures not required for anyone who has been fully vaccinated and 2 weeks have passed since fully receiving their final dose. Please get vaccinated if you are able, and if anyone would like to get the COVID-19 vaccine, Unity Point offers walk-in appointments. And we have some new signage that just says, please wear a mask if you're not 2 weeks post your final shot. If you are, so she's got a nice little sign that we can put up at the bank for our public and staff. And I'll do a communication to all the staff and department heads with whatever you all decide.
And your recommendation is to adopt these guidelines?
It is to adopt these guidelines.
Okay. I'll entertain motions on this.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to adopt the guidelines as presented by our auditor, in that the county office face mask policy for visitors, residents, and employees would be changed so that there would be no mask required except for those who have not had the vaccine.
And I'll second.
Okay.
We won't require, we'll just recommend, as the CDC did. We're also not going to ask, they've talked about the immunization passports. The governor has said those aren't allowed. Even if they were, that would be a hard thing to get involved in. And I think it's best, it's a private decision for people, and the plexiglass will stay up. That has provided some safety for our employees. And yes, it's a little hard to see through or hear through, but with more people not wearing masks, we do a lot more lip reading than we thought we did. We've learned a lot through this whole pandemic. So that will all stay up to provide that extra safety.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt these guidelines. Any further discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Patton,
Yes.
Foster.
Yes.
Okay.
I forgot I did print little handouts so you can see them. This is what we'll post.
Oh, what about handouts?
Yes, handouts are nice. I don't know if that'll show.
And in color.
They're in color.
Okay.
It's not working. Oh, it is kind of. Because it usually does
Yeah.
zoom in on me. So it's a nice little,
No, it's zooming on.
now it's zooming, of course. So everybody online can see.
Oh, you made it
Backwards.
backward.
Oh, because it does that.
We need a
Yeah,
mirror.
Flips the image.
flips the image, exactly. Always
Okay,
fun.
Every time it zooms in on you, you're backwards. So.
I'm normally backwards.
On to public forum. This is a time set aside for the public to make comments on topics of county business other than those listed on this agenda. No action will be taken on any of these topics brought up in public forum. Any comments?
I was gonna give somebody else a chance if somebody else wanted to talk. I just thought I'd give a little construction update to everyone. The courthouse has been moving along nicely the last couple of weeks. We've got a lot of structural steel in, and some big masonry walls are gone. There are a lot of people in here working. The fire station is coming along nicely. The framers will hopefully be wrapped up this week, and we should be able to get the framing inspected and start drywall sometime early next week. And the big update at this point is we did meet with our general contractor for the annex last week, and they have updated our schedule. I don't have the complete schedule yet for the actual date, but they have pushed back our move-in date about a month. So we're looking at the 2nd to 3rd week of August to move back into the annex building. We had some minor setbacks early on when we did that building. The basement was a pretty major undertaking. We dropped the floor 12 inches. So we found some additional work that needed done there. And sometimes the answers back and forth aren't the quickest. So once I get an actual updated schedule, I'll share that with you guys. But we will have to be thinking about extending our lease because we got a month-to-month option on DHS State Street.
Yeah.
So that's something we'll have to work on as well.
As we get closer, we should give them a 30-day notice that we are going to extend by 1 month.
Yeah,
And we already worked that out in our lease agreement.
I'm wondering if we want to do that now. I mean, it is the end of May, surprisingly enough.
We really are almost 30 days away.
Yeah, so if you want me to contact him and tell, I mean, I don't see any way we can get in there by the end of July and be completely out of DHS, even if things rolled perfectly.
That's really nothing that we should require a motion or a vote on because we've already handled it with the previous lease.
Mhm.
We're just exercising one of the options.
We can always do that in the next meeting. We have some time.
We have, yeah, we
can.
do have time. We can do it at the June meeting to
Why don't we
put that on the
make
agenda.
it official, make it a discussion and action item in our next agenda?
Okay.
That way it's totally transparent and nobody, we have not made a decision without it being on an agenda item.
Yeah, this delay actually, I think, is going to work out better for us. The first part of July, Nan's on vacation. The second week in July, I was going to be on vacation. Lisa's going to be gone the second week of July. So a lot of the key players in that building were going to be either disconnected or gone in our original move-in timeframe. So I think this is actually going to work better. And I'll be fresh back from vacation, so maybe I'll have
A good attitude.
That's kind of a lot to
All right,
ask.
let's go with it.
When are you going on vacation?
I haven't got one planned yet.
And
Yeah, I'll come back.
Mr. Patton?
I don't have any, there's too many problems that I've got. So we're gonna wait and see. I was thinking about the 1st of December is what I was thinking.
Oh, dear.
When we start budget time. I don't think that's gonna work out.
I jest, I won't
For
do
about
that.
a month, Bill, or
Was that?
for about a month?
Maybe 2 months.
Or 2.
Okay, anybody else in public forum? Sheriff?
Good.
Okay. All right. Moving right along, we're going to move to item number 15 on our agenda this morning. This is adjournment. The next regular session is June 8th, 2021 at 9:05. All business to be acted upon at that session should be submitted to the county auditor and recorder's office or the board of supervisors office by Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021 at 12 p.m. There being no further business to come before the board, this meeting is adjourned at 9:48 a.m.
What's the thing from